Hi, I'm Yegi. I'm an entrepreneur and success coach who wants it all. Family, luxury, career, and the freedom to do whatever I want, whenever I want. And I'll do whatever it takes to get there. I created the Yegi Project to document my journey and inspire others to do the same. My mission is to change the world by influencing and leading others to do what they love and live fulfilled lives. Hello. Welcome back to the Yegi Project. I am officially back from maternity leave from baby number 4. So those of you that don't know too much about me, I'm Yegi. I'm the owner and founder of Yegi Beauty, which is an eyelash extensions company focusing on product line and also education. But my passion is also coaching people, helping them with their own businesses, and running this podcast to help change the world towards the better so everybody can live better, happier, and really enjoy their life. Because at the end of the day, if you're not happy genuinely, why does anything else matter, right? Well, without getting more into the subject of happiness, because it is very complex, actually. It's simple but complex. I just want to give you guys a quick update of what's been going on, and then we will resume back into regular type of episodes. But let me know in any topics you guys want to cover in this new season. But quick update. So I had my baby. It's been 2 months. I am still very much delusional. Do not get fooled by this makeup today. I literally just put on it to be able to record and feel alive, feel put together. But we're still kind of figuring out our new flow with 4 kids, and it has been a challenge. We had finally gotten used to 3, and very quickly I got pregnant again, but that was the goal. I always wanted 4 kids. So I'm not complaining, just saying how things are playing out currently. So we finally got our footing with having 3, and then now we have the 4th. So we're still figuring out how to kind of divide and conquer and what type of help we need and how to really be there for all of them and give them all the love and care and guidance that they need while trying to run a business, while trying to also be happy and have our life as a couple, my husband and I, and me have my relationships with my colleagues and my friends. So it's a lot. It sounds a lot. And a lot of people ask, so how do you do it? You make it look easy. It's definitely not easy. It takes a lot of work. I don't know how I do it because half the time we're just kind of rolling with the punches and figuring out what to do next and what to prioritize. But my number one thing is I literally have to have a moment to sit down and think, okay, what is not working right now and what do we need to adjust immediately in order to make things tiny bit better, right? So if your life feels like it's all over the place, that's kind of what you need to ask yourself. Okay, what is one thing I can change? If it's a routine, if it's a certain task, or if it's something you can buy or some help you can hire, what is one thing you can do immediately to make things better for you, to release the stress or to decrease the stress? And there was a couple things I realized. So our current situation was 2 of the kids were going to daycare. Actually, one of them just started kindergarten September, just very recently. And the other one was going in daycare. So at home, we had a 1.5-year-old and then the new baby. The way we were able to work previously while still having the baby, which is our currently 1.5-year-old, is we had a nanny to help us at home when we were at work or doing whatever else, to have some sort of a freedom. But now, me being home and also taking care of the newborn, so I was mainly with the newborn and the nanny was still helping the 1.5-year-old. We're like, maybe she could do both. And I was still waking up at nights, my husband waking up at night. So everything was a mess. Everybody was sleepless, tired, trying to figure it all out. So I finally was like, okay, what's one thing that can help? And I realized the only way I'm going to be able to fully get back to work also is if I take the 1.5-year-old to also daycare. So then at least at home, it's only the baby and I can manage mornings, evenings, weekends, and the nanny can help me with the baby when I'm at work or even waking up at night if I really need to get a good night's sleep. So that was kind of the first solution. Although I felt very sad to, send the 1.5-year-old to daycare. I realized mostly all my kids went to daycare, not exactly at 2 years old, but a little bit before, since they were born so much back to back. And that's the only way we were able to give everybody the attention they need and also be able to kind of have a balanced life with working, traveling, and having fun. Although it's madness, it's also so much fun. So I'm very excited. And it was also honestly a goal of mine to have 4 kids, not to just cross it off my list, but it also feels like I can breathe. At least I'm done with that part of the pregnancy. I'm done with actually having a newborn, although I still have the newborn, but we're past the 2 months, so we're almost getting there. When he gets to about 3 to 4 months, I feel like that's when we really would figure the kinks out of how to manage everything. And this is baby number 4. So it took a lot of work to figure out what works for our family. For those of you that are new, trying to balance the home life and work or running a business, be patient with yourself. Take things slow. Like I had to slow things down a lot in my business and in my career in order to build the family that I want to build. And honestly, time goes by so quickly. So enjoy those moments. Be present. I know everybody says like when your kids are young, everything seems crazy and it goes by fast, but it really does. Like my kids are still young, but I can't believe my oldest is 5 already. I feel like I just became a mother. But anyways, with a lot of experience, trial and error, and mainly asking you that question weekly. If things seem chaotic, weekly, you want to ask yourself, okay, what's working? What's not working? What can we adjust? Work as a team with your caretakers, with your husband, parents, whoever else is helping you in your daily life routine, right? Especially when kids come into place. That's how we decided to be able to balance everything. Because first, I love kids. I really wanted 4 of them. I started having kids when I was a little bit older. So I had to have them back to back in my head to make sure I have all of them when I'm before 35. Made it to that goal. I also just turned 35. So much going on, I feel like. To sum up, we sent the 1.5-year-old to daycare, and now we have the baby at home. So I decided to not feel also the mom guilt and fully go back to work. So I want to spend quality time with my baby. I'm going to fully come into the office 3 days a week. And then obviously weekends we always spend as a family. That's not in question. But even during the week, the 2 days where the other kids are in school or daycare, I can fully give my attention to the baby to make sure I get my quality time with him. I think that's super important. And I've been putting in a lot of effort to do that with all the kids to make sure I have one-on-one time with each of them. So they all feel obviously loved and wanted and heard. And although it's a lot of work, I do believe in the long run, it will pay off with them feeling close to me, that they can talk to me, open up to me. Hopefully we'll make things easier when they're older and in the teenager stage, that we've like maintained that close one-on-one bond that they can open up to me. Anyways, so that's that. That's my plan to get back into it. For those of you that have been wondering how we're going to manage it all, I am a big believer in having everything that you can have everything that you want, but it's a matter of figuring out how, and also really like deep down, like dive deep down and figure out what is it that you really want. And one thing I really realized recently is although I want things to be very like smooth and stable at home so I could get back to my career and business and really like be a badass at work again, I realize time really is precious. That's something that I think I want and I've always wanted. But at the same time, right now, I do love the idea of spending a lot more time at home and with the kids. And it's sometimes hard to admit that and try to shape your life to, have that as a priority if you're used to being a goal-getter, a goal-driven person, especially if you run your own business. So it's hard to make that sacrifice. And my business has suffered since I've prioritized being a mother and having a family over the business. But it's not end of the world, right? You can always have ups and downs. You can always scale things smaller, bigger, based on what works for you in your current situation. I'm a big believer of that. And it has been working out for me. And honestly, I have faith that timing of everything is also super important. So if something's not working out now, that is okay. Pivot or take your time. Focus on something else and you can get back to it when the time is right. And I felt like for me in this past couple of years, really my focus was to put all my energy more into the kids and the family and trying to accomplish like that goal And then after, I can come back and focus on my career and my goals and my projects and everything else. Sometimes we feel like we need to have everything now, or if we take a pause, everything's going to fall apart and, I don't know, crash and burn when we come back to it. But I really do think that slowing down sometimes, taking time for yourself to figure out what you really want and taking things one step at a time will really help you have a happy, fulfilled life while not being so stressed and not making the wrong decisions and wrong moves and really just losing it when you're trying to do way too much at once. So that's kind of been where I'm at mentally with balancing work and life. And honestly, I realized that goal that I have of really be having the freedom of schedule to really, like, while the kids are super young and I can spend more time with them before school or before serious school, we can really travel and do that family bonding time, live life, experience it. So my goal now is to find a way to also streamline everything, scale things to a place where, again, we can pack up our bags and just leave weeks or months at a time and really try to live that life before, I don't know, I guess before my kids have their own lives. So that's kind of where my mind is at. So now this part I'll update for the baby. So for those of you who are wondering how I'm doing postpartum and all that stuff, so this time around, I actually had to have a C-section when Charlie was born. And it really, really got to me at first. I really didn't want that because I had 3 natural births. I didn't want to use any drugs. I've done it all naturally. And I had great deliveries, although I've had high-risk pregnancies and issues here and there, but I've had great deliveries. So I really wanted to do everything natural, no drugs, no epidural, and do all of that. But the baby was breached. The doctors didn't want to try to do natural. So I ended up having to have a C-section, which was a whole other experience that I hated. I'm actually really upset about it. But, thank God at the end of it, I healed. I'm still kind of healing. I'm fine. The baby is fine. He came out safe and he's thriving. We are also nursing, breastfeeding. So that's another part I need to schedule. And even in the beginning, I was like, oh my God, like, how am I going to have the podcast guests, the pumping? There's just like a lot going on at first with the new baby. But I was like, okay, let's figure this out. Schedule the pumping. When I'm home, I'll directly feed the baby. When I'm in the office, I'll pump at the same time, because those of you that have fed babies before or breastfed babies before, it gets on a schedule and it knows when to produce more milk if you pump on a schedule. But of course, the easiest way to get milk supply is if you're feeding your baby directly, which I've learned from my experience, at least for me. That's why I want to spend more time at home and directly with the baby too. Makes things happier, easier, and it's kind of less work, right? In a way. Anyways, so that's kind of how that part is going. I can talk about it in detail, but I don't want to bore you guys with that. Another big challenge we have with a family of 6 and a nanny, so technically we're a family of 7, is getting the correct car that fits our needs. So that has been interesting to try to fit in our current car. We have an Audi that has the 3rd row, but it's pretty tight back there, but we've been making it work. So I still haven't committed to buying another minivan, because last time I committed to buying a minivan, universe or God didn't want me to have that. It literally crashed and got totaled within a week or so of me having it. So we're not committing to a minivan yet, but we are still working with the Audi. I think it's a Q7. Let's see. Yeah, I think it's Q7, Q8. Oh my God, I'm so bad with this. No, yeah, Q7. So it fits. It has a 3rd row and it fits all of us. Very compact, but it fits all of us. And if we only take a double stroller, the car seat that turns into a stroller, and a travel stroller that's small, those are like my favorite strollers. The fit, we have less stuff, so then the trunk space is not really an issue. But if you guys have questions about all of that, how we fit all our stuff in there, ask me. I'll cover that in maybe a comment, or whoever is interested in that. But it's been definitely fun and trying to figure life out as a mother, and especially as a mother of 4 right now, trying to do my self-care so I don't go crazy with toddlers and newborns, and also try to balance, having fun and working and trying to manage it all, right? So it's definitely been messy. We are working on it, but we are here. We have our good days, we have our bad days with the kids when they're cooperating or not cooperating. The key thing I learned with young kids is make sure do not overtire them, because that's a big mistake I make. I get overly excited. I want to do like a million things in the weekends, and then they're overtired. So then they end up not knowing how to handle that emotion because they're very young, and they end up having tantrums, or nobody's having fun when I plan this whole nice, fun, perfect day. Long story short, those are my updates. I look forward to being able to have more podcast guests for you guys so we can all grow together, work on ourselves, work on our business, work on our families, right? Really like try to live the life purposefully compared to just going with the flow of whatever's thrown at you. So that's one other thing I want to share is I've learned that I need to literally sit down and make sure what I'm doing on the daily really serves the purpose of the life that I want to live, and not get distracted of all the noise, all the other things that's going on in the world or in other people's lives that really don't affect your life directly. It will help you focus on living your life the way you want to live your life. Anyways, until next time, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Ask me questions. I'm here to help. I'm here to be your support system if you're going crazy with balancing work life and all that good stuff. Until next time, make sure you're also following Life of Yegi, my personal Instagram page, if you want to know more about the family life. That's where I'll be sharing more of that. And then Yegi Beauty for the beauty business, and the Yegi Project social medias for all of the motivational stuff. So until next time, bye. Thank you for listening. Please rate and review this podcast. Follow and engage with us on social media under the Yegi Project. And if you're interested in being a guest, email info@theyegiproject.com. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any future episodes.